they weren't great now, you know.
No, I'm not going to try and build new memories because we're all going to forget. Mark Kavanagh, I'm going to go straight to you because
I've always had my suspicions that this track was a rip-off of the Pet Shop Boys in the night, which is best known as the theme tune to the close show on the BBC.
Tell me, though, your memories of this tune back in those days. And I mean, you were playing tunes in...
likewise, I recall that from sort of Schooner's Disco Bar in Dunleary. That would have been a big tune there where people like Jonny and what have you hung out.
Lurching around the place.
Yeah, it was sort of a pre-sides venue. Yeah. And that was one of the biggest tunes. It is, I would agree with Jonny, it wouldn't be my all-time favourite. Don't know if I could pick one of those, but it's definitely one of the best early house tunes.
It was a different vibe musically than you were doing in the Olympic. Was this ever dropped there by yourself or by, I guess, by others? Probably wasn't the Mark Kavanagh sound?
No, it would have been too slow.
Is there another pitch on this deck?
Well, I think Jonny asked the guy in question about the Pet Shop Boys angle, didn't you? And he said no. Yes. Well, I take his word on it.
But I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, ideas were robbed from greats back then and made better. So or not. So I think it's a valid point what Mark's raising.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I mean, I did actually ask Sully himself, and you know, he actually publicly he said, no, this is not like we have our. This is you know, it's not a rip off of any other particular tune. So you know, you have to just take his word for it. Well, but
Your Honour,
Your Honour sounded like a card, yeah. But no, it's just, you know, it's just one of those tunes that has always stuck by me. I mean, I could name a top 10 like that I would change quite regularly. Well, not quite regularly, but I've changed many times over the years. But that's particular song.
Chris D puts this tune up there a lot, as yourself does.
Chris,
and,
yeah.
It reminds me of a different time. It wasn't something I probably heard in the raves because I started with Mark. But it was definitely something that you kind of get to learn after those years back in someone's house. As I go on, you go, wow, like it's musically very, very well put together.
Yeah, I mean, it's the song became that popular. Even like last year, there was a classical uproar in Manchester, like based around, not totally around that tune, but you know, for one tune to have a classical around it, like
I didn't actually know it was a Manchester vibe, so it probably does have that hacienda. I'm sure
it's a hacienda. It's a hacienda tune all over.
If I can get Graham Park over here by his beard, and we'll interview. Okay, Mark Fay wasn't probably born.
Barely.
Have you any memories of this? Have you other than the Elvis sets that you've been known for on the? Is it Rock the Boat Baby? Was this something that ever came up in any of those gigs?
No, not really. No, but the person that made the Elvis remark was dancing to it at the time. So
okay, we leave it there. I'm going to go to Francois, who's definitely, you know, besides his reputation as a techno god, he's such an appreciation and such a knowledge of house music. Tell me about your memories of this, my friend.
It's an absolute certifiable classic. It's got all the elements that made a really good rave track. It's got the piano breakdown. It's got the slightly wibbly sample. It's got the air horns.
Slightly out of time.
And the best bit, like the crowd noise. You'd hear this in a big rave, and the crowd noise would come in, and the crowd would then just respond.
Exactly.
In the crowd, yeah. It's really, really good. I mean, it's a top-notch classic.
Okay, let's not play another tune. What I want to do is Mark Fay has brought some toys in for us tonight. I'm going to leave Hardcore Opera on in the background just so we have a little bit of background noise. If the overhead camera is working, I'm not sure who's working the cameras tonight, Mr. Dave Caffrey. We have got the Denon Prime kit. I'm going to ask Mark. We have got only a couple of hours to play with this, and in between playing with this, we've been setting up everything else. Myself and Pablo Cronin, we have an initial positive opinion. And I'm going to ask Mark to why did you bring this over here tonight, my friend?
It's probably one of the most exciting pieces of hardware to come along in a long time.
Pablo.
Pablo. Bit more. So it's obviously a new piece of hardware, and it's one of the first pieces of hardware to come along to give what's perceived as the market leader a run for its money. So for a long time, we all know who the industry leader is, and it's in DJ boxes everywhere. And for the first time in a long time, people are starting to consider other options. And it's this, and I just think it's an exciting piece of kit that people should know about and look at.
What I might do is we're getting some feedback off that mic. Maybe just jump into Mark's mic for a second, so we can chat about it.
No, it's working.
Or it's not working. Okay. DJ Box had their mic turned off.
Oh, Jesus! I'm pretty sure I could have brought one. Yeah, I just think it's a new piece of hardware that deserves some attention, and it's getting attention. People are seriously considering it, looking at it, and it's popping up all over the place. They had a huge summer, so. Look,
I'd be a Denon fan. Back in the day, they always had quality kit, and this feels quality. Like even the little bits of chrome, how it feels, how it's built. It's an impressive, well spaced Now, don't get me wrong. There's a lot of stuff I'm not even familiar with why it's there, but I have to explore it. Like, I didn't have enough time.
Yeah.
I did have a bit of time just to get the feel of it and mix on it. And myself and Pablo and Mick, the first thing Mick said was, "Wow, look at the light show.
Look at the lights."
When you turn it on.
When you turn it on.
Yeah, the Vegas mode is extreme.
It
Savage.
does this little
it's
dance.
really cool.
It does this little dance that Mick was blown away by. What was your opinion, Mick? You were the first man to use this here today.
I turned it on and off about 10 times just to look at the lights. No, it's absolutely savage, and I love the feel of it. It's you can just feel the mix on it.
And that was the first thing we noticed. We were playing with the tensioner, which is very different.
Yeah.
And now
Yeah.
I would prefer. It depends on the DJ what he prefers, but there's a lot more mechanical feeling rather than obviously a little spring being tightened. Or, you know.
Yeah, the jog just is more mechanical. The notches on it, whereas it's slightly more fine a dial on the Pioneers. It feels slightly more mechanical, but the jog wheels feel very different. A lot of feedback in the store is that the major feedback is always around the jog wheels. A lot of people will say don't like the jog wheel, love the jog wheel. It's a different feel. It doesn't feel like it has the bearings and rollers under it like the platter on a CDJ. So it's a different feel, but it's phenomenal. And of course, I have the little display in the middle for your album art, and there's a lot of little cool features in there.
I was trying to compare them to the Nexus 2s, which we only put in recently. I haven't had a chance to play with the Nexus 2s in here yet, right? I have used them before. They feel very solid, even compared to the Nexus 1s or the 2000 before that. These feel even more so. I haven't really mixed. I was mixing in the headphones. I was messing around. But what impressed me was I plugged a record box formatted USB into the front of these guys. Took a few seconds, analysed it, made me read. Now, the formats and the playlists obviously weren't there because of whatever. But it showed me everything, and I was able to work on it within a couple of seconds.
That's something they did in a firmware release. And it was important if they wanted people to cross over and to have a look. So it's something that they wrote into a firmware release that it will read record box formatted USB keys. But as well as that, one of the beauties of these units is you don't have to prep your gig. So if you turn up with a USB key full of tunes and it hasn't gone through record box arranging or anything, it has quad-core processing inside, so it'll analyse on the fly. So if you want to throw a USB key into it...
Definitely the brains that's in there seems faster and more capable because... like there's a couple of weak links that I could point out. Don't get me wrong, love what we have here, and DJs love them. Yeah. But I mean, it's all about what we're trying to do here. Is it's great. It's great that there's a bit of competition in the market again.
Absolutely, yeah.
I think Lennon let the ball drop after the 1000s came out.
Yeah.
Like Pioneer wiped the floor.
Yeah.
And Lennon should have been on the game. They're back on the game in a big way.
Well, there's been big restructuring in Lennon, so the DJ side of the business is under new ownership.
Yeah.
So there's big investment. There's big plans, and the hardware is solid.
I want to mention Paul DeCane because myself and Paul worked in the kitchen together.
Okay.
Many moons ago in his Tin Man days.
Right.
So Paul is the Deno man, obviously. So I've been trying to get Paul over to give us some Denons. I'm going to ask Pablo C, my technical right hand here. What's your opinion on this, my friend?
Well, as you know me, I have
and you're a fan.
I'm not a big CDJ fan, but and I use Tractor when I'm playing. But I do have two older Denons, the SC2900s. I liked those at the time. I couldn't afford the 2000s because they're out of the price range of most people. But the one thing that impressed me most was the mixer. I have the X1600, well ahead of its time. And just looking at this piece of machinery here right in front of me, it is well ahead of what Pioneer is putting out in my view. And the build quality is absolutely savage. They're big, they're bright, they're beautiful. And I can see, if they continue with this, I suppose, approach at making things nice and big and bright, where people can see what they're doing when they're playing their gigs, doing their workflow. Yeah, they'll keep on going. They'll keep on moving. It'll take a couple of years.
Is it aimed at the older DJ that needs big and bright?
I just want to add as well the USB ports on them.
All the new features that are on it, like, do you know what I mean? All the DJs know
two decks in one. Okay, for a start, for 1,800 quid.
I tell you, the weakness I see, and it's purely ignorance. People won't like change, and change takes a while to be integrated. People won't like something that's not familiar. And Pioneer have definitely got that foothold. The Pioneer mixers, all the CDJs, there's a familiar workflow. The workflow is slightly different. Now it's intuitive, but you have to kind of put the effort in to actually go and do it.
Well, I'd say to anybody who's out there buying a pair of CDJs today, go on into the DJ box, have a play with the both sides. Try out the Nexus or Pioneers, try out the Denons, and then see how you feel.
Well, I'm going to give the last word to Mark. Sorry, before I do that, around the table, you guys haven't really had a chance to play with it. You're a vinyl guy.
I'm scared of that.
They have a turntable though. They launched it.
Mark Kavanagh, you're definitely a
They have a
techie.
turntable.
What's Mark Kavanagh's thoughts on this?
Well, I haven't played with them, so it'd be wrong to judge. But they do look nice and impressive. In fairness, look like they are a nice build quality too.
What we're going to do, and I say this to Mark, we're going to have obviously need to get another bit of time with them. We're going to have a Pioneer versus Denon day here some night, and bring in specialists in their field and let them play off each other. Let's have a DJ battle and have a bit of fun with it. We're going to do this. But last word to Mark. You're not here just to promote these. Tell us about the shop. Tell us about what's going on in your world.
So we've a new store that we opened up in August up in Cookstown. So we have a bigger, brighter, better space, better for lighting and all that stuff, and stuff like the Denons and the Pioneers and all that stuff is all there. So it's all available to demo. Come in, have a look. These are definitely worth a look. As Pablo said, if someone's considering CDJs, the price point is amazing. The features are.
And you have had a couple of guys, CDJ guys, Pioneer guys, come in and make the switch.
We've had a number of them. I so Stephen Nutley, who everyone will know. Yeah, so Stephen's been a Pioneer and a tractor guy.
But he was also a tech geek and he's into his
tech. He's a very
tech,
technical person. Yeah, he's a tech guy. He understands and he uses tractor for a long time. But Stephen had. Bless them. They were under a year old, and we took his Nexus 2 and sold them, and we traded him into a set of Primes. And
and was this you leading him down that you want to check this tech out?
It's not my money, it's his money. So all I can do is put them on a table for him and say, here's this and here's this, what you want to do. And look, he's not daft either.
Stephen Nutley, if you're listening, we're going to ask you over here, not tonight, but obviously on another occasion, I want to ask you over here to ask you about that thought process. Let's set that up.
Just before we move on from the decks there, Winston, Willie, how's it going, man? Cheers for tuning in. He wants to know what's the price difference between the Denons and the Pioneers?
Yeah,
Is there much?
Yeah, there's a huge difference. So really, really rough figures. At the moment, a set of Pioneers, players and mixers will cost you roughly 7,200 quid. And a set of these bad boys will run you about 5,400. So there's an 1,800 euro saving.
For what we're looking at here?
For what you're looking at there, yeah. 2 players in the mixer against 2 players in the mixer. But there's huge benefits with the Denon. Yeah. So each Denon has 2 stereo outputs, so you can get 4 decks from 2 Denons, which the competitor can't do. So there's a bit of value there as well. Okay. And they have turntables to go with them as well.
If you mention PHEVER.ie as well, you get a nice handshake on your way out the door as well.
and a cup of coffee.
To be fair to Mark, in my previous alteration with Virtu Media and with PHEVER, anyone that goes over there and can validate that they're actually from PHEVER or Virtu does get a few quid off. So Mark, thank you so much for what you've done today. Let's do something different next month and have a bit of fun. Yep. Thank you so much, guys. We're going to go back straight to the music. There's a tune that was submitted. Let's have a listen to this one.
This is The Shooting Gallery. Broadcasting live to every corner of the planet. You're listening to PHEVER.ie. This is The Shooting Gallery.
Just some comments coming in. Tracy O'Brien loving that tune, and Keith Luddy cracking tune. Let's see what the panel thinks.
This is This Week in Gallery.
Okay. Let's see what people think of this one. Mick, any reactions from the public on this one?
Yes, indeed, Dino. Tracy O'Brien loving it, and Keith Luddy cracking tune.
Okay, the title of this track is Tony Crisp, Feel This Free. This is the final mix. Who submitted this track?
I did. Tony Christie is one of the most important people in Ireland.
Tony
ever.
Christie?
Yeah, that's who it is. So before all of us, there was people hanging out in McGonagall's for years, and people like DJ Mick and Colin Carty and what have you. And around that same time, the late 80s, when sort of early house and hip-hop was starting in Ireland, Tony Christie had a radio show on some Midlands radio station, which I can't remember the name of, but he would have been a big inspiration for the likes of Mick and Scary Era and Re-Raw.
And also Timmy Hannigan.
And he's now working with Full Tilt Recordings up in Donegal.
Timmy and Tommy?
That's his track. He did tell me I something to do with why he used that vocal sample, but I can't remember what it is.
Do we know what the vocal sample is now?
Yeah, I once called it one of the most profound lyrics ever. It's Madonna, and the line is, "Only when I'm dancing can I feel this free," which when you take it out and you put that where all of us have spent most of our lives, it's entirely true.
Absolutely.
Only when you're dancing can you feel that free.
Tony Crisp, I will. Well, he actually sent me. I said this to you. I said I actually got this track off him as well. I did not put two and two together. Mark Cavan, thank you so much. What's your opinions of this track, though? Other than
I think he's done a really good job. The bass line, funnily enough, as we were listening to, I was going, that has that kind of late 80s together, hardcore uproar sort of sound to it as well. So yeah, very good job. Obviously, he got somebody else to redo the vocal. It's not Madonna, but.
I didn't even realise this was an Irish-made tune until now, so there's a little bit of specialness to this one. Dave Caffrey, your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, great tune. The nostalgia behind it, as well as Marcus told us all about, is brilliant. The guys up in Full Tilt, Timmy and Tommy, are absolutely doing a fantastic job, bringing some absolute new talent and brilliant talent to the forefront now.
It was I think it was Timmy's birthday during the week as well, or Tommy's, one of them. So
yeah,
happy birthday, mate.
But the lads are doing a brilliant job up there. Like, do you know what I mean? I know Louise DaCosta as well is involved with them, and they're bringing in a lot of young people as well, showing them the ropes.
And they're teaching, and
mastering and producing some serious good music up there. I know Jono has a few tracks released by them there recently as well. So yeah, big up. It's a nice tune. Not really my style, but you know what I mean?
It's well put together.
Good. Yeah, absolutely.
Francois, opinions from a techno master?
Yeah, well, like, I mean, I'll be honest, it's really not my sort of thing, but I mean, yeah, it also has. I mean, there seems to be a kind of a trend in dance music.
You can say it's shite.
Where stuff is harking back to what was done before. You can see that not just like in house music, but in techno.
Memories
and all
of
that sort
Tony
of
Christie. Now that has actually been put on the table.
But I mean, it's good to say. I mean, I just hope it gets airplay. I don't think enough of the Irish electronic music scene gets enough airplay anyway.
Where's Tony based?
I'd agree with that.
Where is Tony based?
He was from Tullamore originally. I'm not sure if he's living there now.
I might reach out to Tony and we can get him up here and we can do
just
something.
To clarify something here for some of our listeners that are still learning. I see Neil Fields from Galway saying it isn't the Tony Christie that has the weight Amarillo. Just to make that clear to all of our listeners, there is a difference.
He's best known as DJ Crisp or DJ Crispo.
Well, there you go. So that's cleared up for you, Neil.
I would have never thought of that one day. Francois, do you want to finish on that? Or
well, as I said, like, I mean, it's not my side thing, but I mean, you could see if it gets the airplay, you could see that being a crossover here.
It is a crossover, yeah. Okay, Jonny.
Yeah, it's not bad at all, actually. You know, I'd be fully supportive of, like, especially Irish producers, you know, because they're in minority, really, when it comes to dance music.
I mean, something like that could bounce around Ibiza.
Yeah, I could
And
actually
should.
see. It's
And
funny,
should.
Yeah, you know, it has that sort of vibe about it, like, you know, in the sun. You know, I was in Ibiza last year, and there was similar stuff being played to that. You know, and it has its place already.
It's a crossover track. It's a nice track to have.
Yeah, I mean, I'm appreciative. You know, everyone associates me with old school, which is fair enough. But like, I deal with like a lot of new stuff as well. Like, you know, and it's not a bad tune. It wouldn't be. I'm not going to say it's a classic now, but it has its place, and it's not a bad tune. You know.
Dave Murphy.
Yeah, it's a nice little housey track.
It's probably something that you'd play in your little girly Tuesday night here.
No, it wouldn't really be, but maybe on the nights you come over. But no, it's a nice housey track. It has everything. It has that rolling bass line. It has the piano. It has the little vocal snatch. It has.
So the elements are there.
The elements are all there. It's not really my cup of tea, but.
Some
nice
feedback.
Okay, before I go back to Mick Masterson, who has a few things to say, we have a shooting gallery gig guide provided by the GUIDE, the Guide to Irish Dance Music. Paul Dunn, Chris Liebing is coming up in a couple of weeks. Actually, no, next weekend, I believe.
Yeah, March 3rd.
Chris Liebing's a techno god. Look, I'd be a fan. He's banging, but he knows exactly what to do. Thoughts on that gig this weekend, guys?
Can't wait. Simple as that. Modus are on support as well, so can't wait to see the.
Modus is, of course, Fernando, isn't it?
Yes, it
Fernando
is.
and Reza,
cannot wait to see, because from what they've been pushing is it's going to be banging from the start. So if you like your banging techno like myself and Francois here does, get down early to District 8. There is
chance to lose a few pounds.
Yes, yeah. Don't mind the gym, just go to D8.
Okay, a couple of other gigs there that we have got sent to us. Dream Chasers presenting Tom Starr, Progressive House, Belfast. Anyone hear this one? Not artists I'm aware of. Okay.
I know Tom Starr, he's actually a very good producer. He's from the UK. He's done a lot of ghost producing as well. I'm not going to mention any names.
That's Progressive House, I believe?
Yeah, it is Progressive House. He used to play and produce some hard house back in the day, along with the likes of BK and Craig Regan. He's part of that sort of circle, or has been involved in it. But excellent producer. Some of the stuff, progressive stuff, I would play when I get to the Beachville in Ultra and stuff like that. It's real driving progressive stuff. Really like it. Tom Starr, class producer, class DJ.
Thank you, Dave Caffrey. Okay, also here, Glitch. It's a new techno night from DJs that you would never normally associate, to be fair. And they were here on Monday night doing a special. Ken O'Flanagan, Elaine, a.k.a. Laney, and Winnie Dillon are doing a night in Aaron Key, 39 to 40 Aaron Key, which is the old Voodoo. A techno night upstairs. Thoughts on this one?
The more techno, the better.
I take my hat off, because these guys are pushing the boat out here to trying something new, and I think this is a good thing.
Yeah, without a doubt, yeah.
Any thoughts on this one, Mark? Glitch, you covered it today in the start.
Yeah, Ken and Laney and Co are just starting out something new, and it's in Aaron Key, which I think Jonathan Kiley is now doing the bookings for. So
some of the bookings,
this is probably the first of a new wave of kind of cooler club nights down there. Obviously, Index is in there already. You must be very proud there with all your techno grandchildren or godchildren around the city, because unless it's a techno,
I'm going to change my name to DJ Zimmer Frame now, I suppose.
Not just yet, pal. Not just yet.
Unless it's a techno night, there's absolutely nothing else on in Dublin except old school, of course, Johnny.
Well, we're going to come to old school now in a second. There was a couple of things mentioned by your good self, Mark, today, and I'm proud to be involved. Myself, Francois, Pat Hoyland and Paddy Sheridan, who served me one of the best burritos in Dublin today. We're going to do something on Easter weekend. Mark, tell us about that one.
Yeah, 100% old school at the Button Factory. Really looking forward to this one. Yourself and Paddy always get down particularly well at shaft nights.
Sounds all wrong.
You forgot to each other parts.
Francois has done quite a few gigs in the Button Factory. Probably my favourite of the nights that we did in there was the night that just myself and Francois did.
Yeah, it was great.
It was a night kind of journey from start to finish. That gets trickier when you have 4 or 5 DJs on, but we're opening early for this one, 10 o'clock, so everyone should get a good run.
We're probably going to talk about it nearer to the time as well, but I know it broke today, so it's only right to say it's probably. And to be fair, I'm humbled to be there. There's some names and there's a lineup there that you pull together. And you told me nothing about the lineup. You kept it under wraps until the last minute. That's a great lineup, my friend.
Cheers.
It should be a great night. And
Factory
always gets a great crowd in, and you always get a great crowd in. And it's good to see a load of old faces I haven't seen in years, I suppose.
And young.
Yeah. And
at this point in time, it's the only old school gig on Easter weekend, so fingers crossed.
Okay, guys, I'm going to go back to the music. But before that, Mick Masterson had a few messages.
Yeah, mixed reaction online. We had Brendan saying that track is quality, and Winston, cheesy shite. And Mr. Carl Bourne says that tune is a bit mainstream. Oh guys, it's terrible. Winston does not like the tune. Back to you, Din.
Okay, guys, I've put a track into the mix. You're going to like this one. Brand new music from Germany's finest, Buchenwald.
This is the Shooting Gallery.
Call or text us now on 085 7833 733. Call or text us now on 085 7833 733.
We are Fever. This is the Shooting Gallery.
Okay, some of the lads had to go for a little break there. While this track is playing, this is brand new music from Buchenwald, a band I'm a big fan of, and we were just talking about it there to Francois. They can lose the plot a little bit. They can lose the plot a little bit, but they're well back with these tracks.
Yeah, I released a mix CD long time ago, and I actually kicked off with a Buchenwald track, looking kind of good, and they're excellent piece of music.
They're musical.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, when they're on form, they're one of the best in the business, I think.
Exactly. Yeah. No, I know Pod have brought them over a lot. I saw them live. Like they're clever guys. They actually brought myself and Dempsey over. What were they thinking? To Saarbrücken in Germany and let us play their festival a couple of years ago. And we brought drum machines and keyboards. And I go, what is this? What is this?
Seen them at the Electric Picnic, I think, a couple of years back as well. They played the Bacardi.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Brilliant. That vibe is what they're all about. Like, but again, as the lads have said, they have brought out some clangers. But you know what I mean? A lot of their stuff is good.
This sounds like it's back on track for the guys. Around the table, Mark, thoughts on this track?
Yeah, excellent. Really, that's them on
form. That's back on form. Yeah, Francois, smiling and nodding. That's what I like to see. Jonny Lennon.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah, it's good. Yeah.
And what's your name again?
Yeah, it's a nice track.
Dave Murphy, by the way.
It's a nice track. I do like it.
Are you a Buchenwald fan? Because they are that kind of progressive house.
I was when I first discovered them, maybe 6-7 years ago. But now I find them. Well, this has picked up a little bit.
Obviously, body language kind of obviously it was good for them financially, but these boys have been involved in a lot of other stuff as well.
Oh, I know, yeah, absolutely. But they've just, I find it went a bit tech housey kind of, and it kind of got a little bit boring. But hopefully they're on the way back up and up.
I think that's a lot better than the previous. Just before I move on, there's a couple more gigs that we have to mention. Alan Fitzpatrick Day boxed off in Rathotes, County Meath, close to where I live. What a lineup, Dave!
Yeah, absolute fabulous. The lads at Boxed Off have done it once again. A brilliant marketing ploy. Alan Fitzpatrick Day, like, you know what I mean? And as they only released Green Velvet and Alan Fitzpatrick from the initial get-go when this was released.
Well, hello.
Yeah, exactly, like, you know what I mean? I do believe it's sold out down there as well. So these guys, Boxed Off, and the people behind it and all, they're doing a fabulous job, bringing some absolute brilliant artists over. And long way to keep doing it. That's all I can say.
It's such a positive element they've had over the last couple of months. Mark, thoughts on that one?
5,000 tickets sold.
Seriously?
Before they'd even announced the rest of the support acts. Just incredible. That's Fernando and the boys in District 8 and the various other people that are involved in the collective. It's really it's class, and it's great to see.
It is great to see for our scene. It's great to see. Also on the same night we have a house special. Tell us.
Which is in Hanger, which has, I don't know if you've been there in the last year or so with the sound system that Paul Summers has put in. It's a tri-void
system, yeah.
It's like it's the first time I've been in a club in say about 20 years where we actually went up and asked the guy would he turn down the bass. It was that loud.
Not like you, Mark.
It was just incredible. That was at the last house special, which was towards the end of last year. They're doing an all-Irish lineup, as you might expect for Paddy's Day. Pierce, Rooney, Kenneth Flanagan, Centre Short.
You were in here talking to the boys during the week about that event. What can you fill us in? Is there any secret moments or any thought process behind this?
I don't know whether you were at the last one, Jonny, because Jonny tends to pop up at a lot of the old school gigs. He's a very passionate old school fan, but at the one that they ran before Christmas, it was really well programmed musically, and you kind of came away from the night.
And timed well.
Yeah, but they played, everyone that was on that night played kind of stuff that you wouldn't normally hear at those sort of nights, and it worked really well. It was nice and different.
I'm just looking down through the gig list. I'm not going to get to mention everything, unfortunately. Andy Farley is playing at the Loft, Final Revolution, Galway. We have got Lush in Port Rush. Solar Stone, pure trance. Now, not something that I'd be into. Mick, what do you reckon about Solar Stone?
Great, love it.
It's probably one of their biggest tracks back in the day. It's a belter.
Solar Caster as well, what a tune.
Have it on vinyl and we'll play it.
Top off, Loon's Paint.
Now, Dino.
Producer Carl Hamilton dropped it at Homelands, I think, in the Lush tent, and it just went down an absolute treat.
BD Festival happens end of March as well, Glenlock House on Good Friday, I'm guessing. I'm not sure what the lineup is.
It's the first year ever that you can bring your own booze.
Yes. Very good, yeah.
And you can actually drink legally on Good Friday now.
Yeah, it is.
So there's no illegality to it. So where's the fun?
Yeah.
That's another brilliant festival. I mean, that's 13 years on the go.
Myself and Francois used to go with a bag of cans on that day.
This new law that has come in to allow you to drink on Friday, on Good Friday, should I say, has absolutely ruined house parties and sessions all over this country. At first, we moaned about it for years, but we didn't really want it.
It'll ruin the takings of Tesco off licenses too on Holy Thursday.
I guarantee it will still be a session.
And just a disclaimer there, by the way, you can pick up alcohol at any other stores as well, not just Tesco's.
Okay, guys, we're running short on time. I'm going to play one more tune, and let's have a listen to this one. This has not been submitted by any of you guys. It's one from me. You may know it.
This is the Shooting Gallery.
Call or text us now on 085 78 33 733. Call or text us now on 085 7833 733.
This is The Shooting Gallery.
Okay, I'm not sure of the year, but SoundCloud, think about it, please. The reason I pulled this out, myself and Mark Kavanagh have discussed this before. It's probably my favourite because it didn't really sound like a lot of the others. I love it because it can be dropped in a house set, or a techno set, or an old school set. It can be still dropped today.
Heard it on a Sasha mixtape once.
Seriously. Tell us about the thought process behind the construction of this track.
That was actually one of those ones that was put together. Some tracks you go back and you remix again and again. You spend days, weeks on, but that one was done in a few hours.
It just came together.
What's
the sample?
The sample is from Midnight by Yazoo on Upstairs at Eric's.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, very good. I have that album.
And the inspiration would have been Mucka's Nebro, which was out on Limbo.
Limbo.
Yeah, out in Limbo,
So
yeah.
that obviously sampled Nobody's Diary by Yazoo.
But you don't have that. Well, yeah. I just think it's a very. It's kind of obviously for you guys as SoundCloud, it's probably one of those tunes that gets you from A to B. But it has a dirty groove to it, which I always loved, and it came together really quickly and really easy. It doesn't always happen like that.
I think Jonny Lennon recently on Facebook commented that was it you or was it Morris? Well, it was actually Morris who said that. It was one of the ones that sort of still stood the test of time, I suppose.
I've one of those limited edition ones that Abbey Discs were selling for you.
And it has. It still sounds okay.
Francois, thoughts on this track and memories on this track.
Just quick one. Speaking of Abbey Discs, we were doing the Zoo Weekender with Paul Oakenfold over, and he said, "Okay, I'd like to go and buy some records." So we went into Abbey Discs, and Billy twigged, like, yeah, it was Paul Oakenfold in there, and he goes, "Oh, Grant," he goes, "Would you mind signing this record?" Oakenfold signs it, and Billy just puts it on the wall and goes, "Grand, I'll get 20 quid for that."
Billy,
Pure Billy. Yeah. That's brilliant.
That Zoo Club Weekender was excellent. That was the first kind of independently run DJ weekend.
Yeah.
Where was that?
It was in the Pink Elephants at the Zoo Bar, and I remember the manager at
Robbie
the time.
Fox.
Yeah, it was some guy, some other managing at the time. And he comes up and he says to me, "Look, this is great. The place is packed, but we're 20 kegs down on our normal weekend take."
Because they were nicked.
Paul Oakenfold was playing with U2 in I think the RDS.
That's right. Yeah, at the Zoo tour. Yeah.
What's the start of that? Yeah, I played with him in the pod at that time.
The famous gig at which Scary Era supported U2, and Mr. Brown did a mooner to the crowd, and they were bottled off the stage.
Was that how
as you do.
Perfecto then done the remix of Lemon? Obviously, is that where that developed
no,
from,
that was
or-
actually before that. Yeah.
Before that, was
And
it?
he came into the Zoo Bar wearing an Ireland jersey. didn't he?
That's right. But to be fair to Johnny Moy came on after him and just totally blew him off the dead.
Yeah.
Because like he came up, I was talking to the pod at the time, and Oakenfold came in and he was like surrounded by this little entourage, which I had never seen before, and he was asking for minted tea, and I was there like, "Oh, Yokes.
The big irony was, as Francois says, Jonny went on after him and blew the roof off the place. I think the sound went off for about 5 seconds or 5 minutes, and Jonny kicked back in with Oakenfold's remix of U2's even better than the real thing, and the place just went bananas. It was
what an intro!
Brilliant.
Just a quick question for one of our listeners there, Mark. Is the scratching sample on that robbed from DJ Mick?
It is not robbed from him, but well, we didn't ask his permission, I suppose. So technically speaking,
borrowed. Sorry, we rephrase it to borrowed.
Yeah,
Keith,
it is DJ Mick.
Yeah, Carl Byrne, well done. A for you. You get a gold star this week.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Okay, that's probably all we have really time for tonight. I'm going to go around the table. Dave Caffrey, what's coming up in your world? You've got some big stuff going on. Not in this country.
Yeah, we've got Ultra coming up again in July. Can't wait to get back over there. Myself and Rory Lynham so far, and we're bringing over a host of Irish DJs again. We brought 13 last year to play across the week festival Destination Ultra over there. I think also we have something coming up maybe in April with Mr. Seb Fontaine. More to come on that. What's coming up later on the show actually after this, we got some brand new techno from Donkey Kong and Clank Russell.
Well, you are live in about -1 minute.
Yeah, thanks very much for that, by the way. But absolute belt and techno coming out, and lovely progressive coming up on the show. So please stay tuned for that.
Pleasure to have you here, Dave. Mark Kavanagh, legend. Thank you so much. I'm so glad you're here. I want you here every week. Sorry, every month, by the way.
Cheers, thank you. Really
kind of a local.
Could I just give a big mention to the Tony DeWitt 20th anniversary memorial gig, which is taking place on. It's taking place on July the 7th in the O2 Academy in Birmingham. I think I'm allowed to say that there's going to be a classical element to it, so it'll be like TDV classical.
Can you tell me about your introduction to Tony? So long as it's not a huge, big, long story.
Go for it.
We were just into mad, hard and fast music.
but how did you meet the man?
I
was just through admiration of.
We brought him over to we talked John Reynolds into putting him on a Sunday night in Pod, and it wouldn't have been the busiest night in Pod ever, but it was brilliant. It was great fun. And that was it. And then he came back over for Pat O'Keefe.
Because you were always a champion of the TDV sound and him himself. Look, I met him that time in the Pod with you guys.
He wouldn't have been the first trade DJ that I became aware of. The first one would have been Malcolm Duffy in the early 90s. He used to do all the discus stuff. I don't know if you remember. And they remixed Zero B's Love to Be in Love and Lock Up and stuff like that.
Great tune.
So it was kind of, I was aware of Malcolm, I was aware of Trade. Capella's first couple of singles had like 6 a.m. of Trade mixes on them. And then Tony came along with Burning Up, and it was just like, oh, he plays the Trade as well. What is Trade? And then went to Trade and was like, wow.
Yeah, blew up.
But to find what you brought back here and what you done as a DJ for that period of time, like we were working together on the 2FM session tours, and you were just representing a different sound.
Yeah, I suppose it would have been. Based on that. Yeah, the Trade sound became the mainstream sound, didn't it? Or
Mark Kavanagh, pleasure to have you here. I know you've mentioned what's coming up. Anything else that you can share, or will we get there?
Yeah, just with regards to that gig, the tickets are going on sale, I think, on the 1st of March. So
100%.
There's a website, tdv20.com.
Sorry. Different gig. Okay, Mark Kavanagh, thank you so much. Francois, pleasure. A good friend of mine. Haven't had you here in about a year.
Yeah, thank you very much. Just ask me some Saturday. I'll drop some cheese.
Is that real here?
Would you have a USB with you tonight?
USB, what's that?
Oh, sorry. I forgot.
Our viewers want to know, is that your real hair?
Unfortunately,
it's like one of those Action Man hairdos.
Yeah, well, unlike a lot of the people around here, it is actually my own hair.
I had loads of stories that we spoke about that I'm not allowed to say on air.
Well, certainly not. Yeah, I think they're libelous.
Yeah, we leave them in the memories.
But I'm looking forward to the gig with you guys.
Yeah, I'm going to look forward to that.
Good fun.
Jonny Lennon, you have a couple of things going up. Well, sit in there, my friend.
Yeah, just obviously flashback in July with Shades of Rhythm, absolute legends. All focuses on that, like massive fan. There's been a major buzz about that, and yeah, it's all systems go to that. Like early bird tickets are on sale in like next month.
Something to look forward to. We can chat about it near the time anyway.
Yeah, it's a dream for me to get. I seen Shades of Rhythm last October at the Acid House Experience in London. There was like nearly 3,000 people there.
Yeah,
they blew me away. They were better than anybody else there, and it was like a
tell us what the live show involves. Very briefly.
It's like it's just there's two guys DJing, and like I can't remember the guy's name. He sings, so it's like a live. It's like a PA.
2 or 3 of them. Yeah, I was talking.
There's 3 of them in total. Yeah.
Ecstasy.
Yeah, that's.
There was a time when they were over here every second week.
They were, Ormond Multimedia and.
Yeah, the Ormond played in the basketball arena in Tallaght.
That's right.
You know, I believe they played Radio City about 10 years ago, but I missed that, unfortunately.
But I'd agree with you. There's a huge buzz around this because it is a long time since they played here, so that's going to be a big.
Just before my birthday, I'll be 30.
Brilliant. I believe you then.
Dave Murphy, what's going on in your world?
Not a whole pile, guys. I'm still here every second Tuesday. Catch me between the hours of 8 and 10 o'clock. Available for weddings, bar mitzvahs, and the like. Absolutely no
From
problem.
me, Dean Sherry, we've gone 5 minutes over time. Thank you so much, guys. It's been a pleasure. We had a bit of laugh, bit of banter. An hour isn't enough, but an hour is enough. I'm going to hand you back to Mick, who's going to hand it over to Mr. Dave Caffrey for me, episode 3. And thank you to Mr. Pablo Cronin. I think tonight has been great. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Well done, guys. And Bob says, great show, guys. And on the last tune, SoundCrowd. Graham says, nice new vibe. We also have Alma, who says it was opportune. And Laura says, memories. We have Dave Caffrey on the way. And Robert David says, Dean Sherry, he's watching you. You must owe him a few quid. Dave Caffrey on the way.
It's Friday night and live from the Fever Studios in Dublin. Watch and listen across the globe on fever.ie. Prepare yourselves and get ready for some funky tech and techno tunage. Lock in the dial for this week's Funky Sessions with Dave Caffrey. It's Friday night and live from the Fever Studios in Dublin. Watch and listen across the globe on fever.ie.